Good morning, guys. This is a video, actually an audio recording of the legislature kicking me out and telling me or restricting the freedom of the press. I just thought you guys should hear this.
Accredited news agency, which is done prior to the session. We have a list of people who can defend. I see. News local, public. I see. It's the House rules and state constitution. It says the House, both sides can set their own rules, and that's the rules they have set in the House rules.
So they can set a rule that basically says that the citizens are no longer allowed in session if they want to.
Not in session, cannot film the session.
No, you need to follow me for a second. What you're saying is that a citizen's rule trumps anything else. I mean, the legislative rule. So if the legislature decided to be able to create a rule that says the citizens are no longer allowed in chambers, hypothetically, then that would stand, wouldn't it? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Why not?
Because an open meeting law.
Okay,
we're allowed
then
to
let's say,
we're saying filming of the session. If you want a copy of the session, you get with Idaho Public Television, and they will give you a copy of it.
Here's where we're coming from, just so you understand it clearly, okay? I'm not here to create a problem. What I am here to do, and I will make no point of telling you this, is to be able to challenge authority when it needs to be challenged. What I'm telling you is, according to our Constitution, and if you understand the way law is, you'll understand that administrative policy does not trump the Constitution, and that all laws that are applicable to the restriction of the citizens need to be done through Article 3, Section 1 of the Constitution, where the legislature creates the law and says that it needs to be enacted through the enacted clause. Therefore, anything that does not have an enacted clause cannot therefore properly restrict the rights of the citizen. And we have the right of freedom of the press in this country, we have the right of freedom of the press in here, and this legislature does not have the authority not only to be able to restrict the constitutional right, but to be able to delegate their authority to a particular person that has the ability to be able to tell us who legitimate media is. As a matter of fact, PBS is a one-sided media organization. That guy right there is a congressman, and he's the one that only gives one side of the story and a poor side of that. And so the media is controlled by two sides. And what the intention is to do is to be able to crush the liberty movement in this country, and I'm not standing for it. So you can tell me that a rule has been created that the legislature does not have the authority to be able to do this and that and the other. But the simple fact of the matter is if they do that, they're acting in contradiction to their oath. You know what the oath is for? Let me explain something to you, okay? The Constitution was created to be able to protect the rights of the people. The legislature took its own oath to be able to understand, okay? Legislatures can do two things. Governments can. They either empower the citizens or they empower themselves. When they empower themselves, they're acting in contradiction to their own. You see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
So it probably means nothing to you, and that's okay.
You know what?
You can't create a rule that restricts our most basic fundamental right to hold government accountable. You can't do it. Not lawfully, you can't. So if you want, so what are we going to do? You going to arrest me?
No, I'm not going to.
So what's the plan?
I'm just asking you to abide by the rules of the legislature.
I don't need to do that. The rules, if it's an administrative rule, and the rule applies to the legislature, it does not apply to me.
Well,
I've got a statement from Attorney General Lawrence Wallace that says the biggest problem we have in this state is administrative policy believed to be administrative policy believed. So Claudia, with all due respect, I'm not here to cause a problem.
well, I understand that. All we're saying.
But I feel like I have the right to be able to know. And so what are we going to do?
I don't know. I guess I'll look up the computer and see what he says about it.
You're going to disrupt an entire session?
The session is at ease right now. We're done. They're not even meeting right now. We're saying during the session.
I'm just challenging authority like usual.
What's that?
Respectfully challenging authority like
Not
usual.
a
We just asked him to not film.
Yeah, and I understand where I'm
I know you are. But I got it, man. I don't understand. And so nobody. And here's the thing.
credentials crisis with it.
I know. Who gave you guys the authority to be able to delegate? What property did the president?
The Supreme Court gave us the authority to set the rules that we establish our functioning clock. So one of the rules that we have, and it's been tried in court, are rules. One of the rules that we have is that we do not allow non-credential people to film our films. I keep the Democrats out for the issue of it. I keep the Republicans out for them. Other people out for this.
incidents didn't happen here, but nobody wanted to communicate with me during at any other point outside of this, which is why it's happening right now. And so, but I don't understand. So, hey, how are you? Yeah, you hopefully get home. Yeah. And so, you know, I'm trying to be respectful about this, but I feel like I have to do that because what happened is, you know the Constitution, you're a good guy. Where am I off in la la land to be able to believe that the legislature has the ability to be able to restrict my most basic right of freedom of expression?
You can go and look at the precedent. People have tried to say, does the legislature have, under their rules, do they have that authority? Yes, we have the authority to set up our rules.
Then why can't you put that? Why can't a rule can't apply? It has to be a law enacted through Article 3, Section 1 of the Constitution. You guys have to have an enactment clause of the law that it's going to apply to the citizens.
Not
Lawrence Wasden will tell you different.
No, he won't.
I just talked to him. He said the biggest confusion that we have is the fact that people believe that rules and regulations and policy are law.
That's
It's not.
not the rules of the legislature that govern the rules of the legislature. House rules, Senate rules, and joint rules. If those rules, we have the ability to promulgate those rules, and if they're backed up by the Supreme Court, and he will tell you how they are.
I guess we're just going to have to agree to disagree.
Rules
And you're the one.
administrative rules.
You know the interesting part about this? Let me ask you this. You're trying to be respectful. Sure. Okay, because I'm trying to be.
Oh, you're doing fine. You're doing fine.
I'm a little hot, but I'm trying to.
Hey, you're fine.
Okay. So what condition does the legislature on master versus servant, let's say? I know everybody hates that.
No, that's fine.
So I don't do
Here's
that.
the deal.
But, I mean, tell me this.
We
So
are here-
if
we are
you're
here to serve. Yep.
then what is the problem with me as the citizen being the master over the servant, holding, this is a means of holding government accountable. What I'm being denied is the ability to be able to hold them accountable.
We record everything
It
out.
doesn't matter. But you're still restricting my ability to be, so you could theoretically create a rule that says, you know what, you guys aren't allowed to talk to us anymore.
We're good.
I think that's it. I think that's ridiculous.
I'm just saying,
Because-
will we? No.
Oh,
Here's
but
the
you
problem.
could.
Here's the problem.
Because when you retire, we might end up getting somebody worse in there, which
We
we
have
probably will.
an obligation to get work done here. And there are certain things that cause problems. One of them is individuals that want to take photography up there to use against somebody in a nefarious means. Okay?
Yeah.
So,
But have you ever watched my videos?
I haven't.
Well, let me tell you about how they work, okay? And if we're going to talk about nefarious, then let's talk about the statesman. Let's talk about how the media lambasts our legislature, and like they did with Vito Barbieri, for example. My videos
But they
have
didn't
always
do it
been
in
on my
fiction.
website. Were done in full length, without any editing, as a public service to the people. So not only as a tribute to you guys for doing exactly what you were doing, but to be able to help the citizens that were working, doing 3 jobs to be able to support the increase in taxes and regulations and the rest of it, but to be able to give them the truthful part of the whole thing. That's what all this liberty media is. It's never been to be able to say, well, Brent Crane's a commie, or, you know, Stu Stewart is a, what, you know,
Here's the deal.
not a sergeant.
You
of
guys
arms.
may play by the rules. Okay? May not be an issue. I may have daily coos over here that don't play by the rules. And so they're looking to get a legislator.
But then why can't they be see, the thing about it is
I
that we
have to have a way
believe
to-
that we have to punish the majority because the
I
majority of
have to
somebody
have
screwed
rules,
something.
just like any game in life. You have to establish what the rules are, and you have to play by those rules. Those rules, Tom, were enacted before I got here.
I know
Those
they are.
rules will be here after I leave.
But
They
it's a-
work very well. Everybody doesn't like the rules, but that's the rules that we have to play by. Do I like all the rules of the House? They're going to do something out here to me shortly. But using a rule that I have that I'm not happy about. I will win, but I'm not happy about it. That's their right under that rule to do it.
But that's the internal. That's the difference here. Is that the way that you guys have your rules set forth in the legislature are rules and how your legislature governs. When you step outside of this and you deal with the public, those rules apply differently.
We're not stepping outside of it. This is inside the
You are.
dome.
We
I
have stepped
to make-
inside. We have to pay for parking to be able to sit in our own people's house. And if we don't have the money, we can't testify.
I've got to pay for parking to serve you.
Well, I know you.
You know what?
Well, you
I'm on the
shouldn't
clock
have-
and I don't get overtime from you.
You shouldn't have.